Hello, everyone. Welcome to what I'm guessing is your last session for Ignite. So for those of you who are still here, wow, well done. Like you are the power sessioners, and that you were here on day 5 to hear us talk. And for those of you who are watching the video afterwards, we're really glad that you're tuning in as well. My name is Brian King. I'm with the Bing Products Global Ecosystem team. And we're going to talk about transforming the way retailers do business online. And we're going to talk a bit about search today. We're going to talk about recommendations. We're going to talk about Dynamics Commerce 365. OK. So retail is really, really evolving, and it has been for the last few years. But it's more and more, it's turning into a curated experience that starts with the user at home, to when they start walking in that door, to experiences that they might have in the store, where we're reimagining retail and how visual dimensions are coming into play and allowing me to think about what works for me, how can I see my personal preferences, to helping the associate in the store find that thing. How many of us have gone into a store and said, you know, I really want this, but I need it 2 sizes bigger and I need it in navy. And they may or may not know that product catalog well. All the way through to the logistics. You might be buying something online and you need it fulfilled. I might be buying something in a store and I want to make sure that it gets shipped to me. And then for those of us who are really, really trying to drive those sales and that revenue in that back office afterwards, how are we using that data to ensure that we're getting the most from our customers and providing the most for our customers? So as we've been going through this journey and talking to a lot of the large retailers out there, from a Kiplinger report last August, e-commerce growth is 5 times higher versus in-store. That doesn't include autos, just to make sure that's clear. 75% of retailers rank e-commerce as a top priority, and those who don't are typically more focused on brick and mortar and don't see an online space for them. So you could really say that anyone who has the opportunity to have an online space sees that as a top priority. And then 51% of online retail is existing outside the market leader. Now, modern websites today really require a modern search. How many of you have experienced going to a website and searching for something and not being able to find it? And what do? Thank you for those of you who put up your hands. Many of you. You vote with your feet, right? You go somewhere else. Or I guess you vote with your mouse. You click somewhere else and you search. And oftentimes you don't go back to that e-retailer because they're just not able to meet your need. You're not able to complete that task and you're not able to do it quickly. So 80% of shoppers will abandon a site that produces poor results according to that Business Insider report. I'm wondering what the other 20 are doing. They must be still on that site and pretty frustrated. But in either way, we can certainly help them, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how, in doing so, you can maximize your revenue that many e-retailers are leaving on the table today because they're not monetizing aspects of their search that we'll talk about. Now, the challenge with current search capabilities that are in use today, and I'm talking to all of you out there who are using the Solar and the Elastic type searches, is that if we take this nice bottle of Contoso Cabernet Sauvignon, it's a great vintage, I guarantee you, and we put that in our index, so we put that in our catalog store. Today, we probably store it with the title and the description and a little bit of additional maybe metadata around that. The trouble is that that's all the searches of today are really relying on. So when Maria, who's here, she's planning a nice evening with her friends, and she's already got the salad, so she's thinking healthy. Good. It's good for me, too. And she's in the Pacific Northwest, so of course there has to be some salmon. But she's thinking about, what kind of wine should I have? I want it to be kind of nice. I want it to pair with the salmon. It'd be really good. So she goes and does a search query for wine that pairs well with salmon. Now, the only problem is that with today's search engines, they don't understand that intent. And the kind of results that you'll get today on some major retailers is you'll get back lots of salmon, because that's something that resonates or has a lot of items in the catalog. And the key here is that the intent is not being understood. So the fact that we're talking about pairing something with something else is not being understood. So that results in lower revenue. And we've seen through work that we've done with major retailers that that's leaving about 30% revenue on the table, because people are not finding things and they're going elsewhere. The problem gets worse, though. The problem gets worse because Pablo, the developer at that retailer, is now taking that information, looking at that logs, figuring out, okay, so we didn't convert that one. Why didn't we convert that one? There's investigations that happen, and many of you and many retailers I talk to would probably understand what I say when I say that the developers start adding synonyms. So you start adding synonyms and you start saying, okay, so I need a synonym with wine and salmon, or maybe pairing. But the trouble with synonyms with current search technology is that they're not contextually aware. So now I could start typing in salmon and maybe start getting back paring knives. And now I'm playing whack-a-mole. So I add a synonym here, another problem is created here, I try to change that, and so on and so forth. I have to stop being aggressive with my mic here. It doesn't like when I do that. So this creates a huge headache, and it increases the cost, total cost of ownership for you managing and maintaining your site. So the reason that this is happening is because the current search engines today do not have that intent understanding. They don't do query classification. And their search isn't self-learning. Because wouldn't it be great if every time one of my customers searched on my site, my search got a bit better? It learned my customers better. The AI in it got better, if there were AI, but the current systems don't have that. Unfortunately, this, of course, lowers the relevance of the results returned, and ultimately, it lowers relevance. Well, we have a solution. Before I talk about the solution, I want to talk about a couple of search terminologies. Many of you will have heard this before. Some of you might not, but let's make sure we're all on the same page. In the search world, we have what are called head queries. Those that you see every day, they're really simple. They match up the products that we have: hammer, jumper, sweater. We have tail queries, which are unique and less defined. They're typically more complex. It's where somebody starts typing something that isn't the name of our catalog, and that's where the search engines fall down. And that's what we've done the work to fix. So understanding search intent matters because a dress shirt isn't a dress. If I type in a dress shirt, I don't want to see dresses. If I type in banana peppers on my grocery site, I don't want to see bananas. And this is what the text searching will do for you. Or, for example, a socket wrench. It doesn't work on wall sockets. So search queries shouldn't need to rely on just your product catalog title or description or metadata to work well. We have a solution. The Bing team has worked with Dynamics 365 Commerce to take the trillions and trillions of queries that we've seen and the billions of user clicks that we've seen and the entire stack that we have in search today, and we've brought that over and we've implemented it within Dynamics Commerce. It leverages a knowledge graph that we have that understands what things are and their relationships between them. It has a ranker, which I know is a technical term, but it has the processing engine ability to keep learning from the queries that it's seeing. And because we have a general search engine, we're taking all of that knowledge that we're getting out on the web from all the queries that we're seeing from people and all of the things that they click on and turning those into insights that we also pour into the ranker. And that keeps happening. So we continue to discover. So as a new trend comes along, we discover that, and your ranker benefits from that. So going into a little bit more detail, and I'll demo this for you in a moment here. This isn't going to all be slideware. I talked about understanding the user intent. And understanding the user intent requires really, really strong query understanding. It requires understanding the product and the brand intent. It requires natural language. And it requires it to be contextual. There are other features that we provide as well, such as search support on the right-hand side there. You want an auto-suggest, that text that comes up as you start to type into the search box. You want that to be specific to your catalog, not just some generic auto-suggest. And you want your speller and your suggested searches to all be based on your catalog, and we provide that as well. But here's a key point that we provide out of the box. We're multimodal. In Asia today, you're seeing more and more people doing visual searches on their phone using their mobile devices to capture what it is they want to search for. That might be the sweater in blue that you liked, or it might be the chandelier that I saw at my friend's house that doesn't matter how many words I type in, I might not know how to describe that, where a picture really is 1,000 words. So we are multimodal for text and visual search and voice out of the box. Now, another dimension that a lot of companies are spending time on and processing offline today is around search, refinement, and guided navigation. So we see the filters on the left there. And I'm sure if I went around and asked some of you, and I heard this from many of you who came up to our booth that we had in the hub earlier this week, there's a lot of offline processing that goes into putting together those filters and facets so that people can narrow down. Oh, I just want to see the gray ones, or I want to see the navy one. I'd like the one that's less than $100 because I wasn't planning on spending more than that. And all of that should be there. Well, our system dynamically creates filters and facets with every query. And our index is updatable in near real time. I'll say real time because it's literally milliseconds. So in very near real time. And if you add a new item, if you add that new item, that yellow item to the index, and you didn't have a yellow cap or hat before, when you have a query on that set of items, those facets and filters will return that yellow item immediately. So no more building offline as well. We talked about relevance. That's really, really important. But some other dimensions that you're going to want there is you want to be able to make sure that they're within market, or that they're time-based. I might add items to my catalog, but I don't want them to show up for another 2 weeks because that's when they come out. There might be that book launch. There might be that new sneaker that's coming out 2 weeks from now, and I'm not allowed to sell it until then, so let's make sure that it doesn't show up in those search results. It needs to be market-based. Maybe I sell this one in Alabama, but I don't sell it in Idaho, and we can do all of that because there's a business logic layer that's on top of the search results and ranking, so that you can control all of these really, really easy. And then finally, being personalized to your users is super important. Having those personalized recommendations are key as well, and we also have that built into Dynamics today. So what I'm going to show you now, or in the demo in a few moments, is a site called Fabricam, which is a pretend site that we put together to allow you to see some of these things working in place. And of course, Dynamics Commerce works with all of the other Dynamics parts as well. And you can see on the screen here some of the line of business and associate in-store capabilities as well. So what are we going to show you? We're going to go from traditional search and show you a search that's powered by AI. And let's do that now. All right, so I mentioned I'm going to go over to this other machine here. Okay, the demo gods so far are with me. We'll see how this goes. This is a Fabricam site. So this is a demo site that we put together just to show you this. So let's do some queries and see how well this works. So I'm going to start by doing a query like diamond rings. Now, this is an easy one, right? Great, there's a bunch of diamond rings. But you'd expect that to work. The word diamond and ring are in every one of those titles, just as a standard search would work today. Okay. Now let's try something that's a little bit harder. I'm going to It's getting cold in Seattle where I live now. So I'd like some winter wear. Okay, now, sure, the first item has the word winter in it, but look at this down jacket with fur trim. There was no specialized training of the ranker to come back with that. The ranker understands that winter is something that is associated with jackets, number one, two, fur trim, and down jacket. And I couldn't fix that with the synonym, because if I were to go in and associate down with winter, maybe I'd start returning down-filled duvets as well. So understanding that intent of the user is really, really key to be able to return results like that. Okay, let's do another one, like party dress, for example. Something slightly ambiguous. Sure, the word dress is in there, but we're bringing back evening dresses and cocktail dresses and vintage dresses. Great. Let's try something a little bit harder. Now, before I do actually this next one, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to type in hat, just so you see that I don't have a catalog with just a few items in it here. We do actually have hats, and in preparing for this demo, I learned that there's such a thing as a skate hat, which, okay, they're obviously not for me, but okay, that's something that exists in the world. But watch what happens when we make use of the power of query alterations, the power of a really strong speller, the power of being able to figure out what humans type. And you might be really surprised, because we see this in the search engine all the time. People mistype stuff constantly. And in fact, they just expect it to work. They expect it to just come back with the right results. And they're used to that in general search today, so why wouldn't they be? So we really need to make sure that that's happening on our e-commerce site as well. So for this one, I'm going to type baseball hat. And I'm getting baseball caps. So now, that's pretty good in that nowhere in these titles is there the word hat. I completely messed up the word baseball, and you could see even that the auto-suggest caught it as well, right? And that's what I'm talking about understanding the intent of the user. A cap is a hat. But these are not the hats I was looking at earlier. Why? Because baseball hats are not those fedoras and those other things that came up. This is very, very specific and meeting the need of your user. Okay, I want to make sure we have plenty of time for Q&A. So enough demoing for the moment. So what did we look at there? We were seeing a few different things. We were seeing the power of understanding user intent. We were seeing the power of strong natural language processing. And we were seeing the power of bringing all of those Bing insights in to understand what things are in the world. A hat is a cap. Winter is something where you get items that have down and fur on them, those kind of things. We also saw great relevance, where we understood intent, and we saw dynamic guided navigation, which actually I'm realizing I didn't play with, but that's okay. So we believe that the future of retail is driven by search in many dimensions, whether that's, oh, here we go. it was falling behind me for some reason. My clicker is a little bit asleep. Whether that's at home, as we were demonstrating there, in terms of being able to do really, really strong user understanding of those queries at home and providing that great set of results to your user. Whether it's understanding the preferences of the user as they come into the store. Whether it's helping out that associate, because it's just as important for that associate to have that power in the store, because you come in and you ask for something, it's like, oh, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, and maybe they're a fairly new employee and they don't know what the store has fairly well yet, or even they do know what the store has fairly well yet, but they're using your language in terms of what you came in and how you expressed it, how you might have found it online. That needs to work really well in store on those tablets that those associates are holding, and Dynamics Commerce will make that available. It also needs to work for the shippers and the logistic people so that if you buy something online, they're putting the right product in the box. And finally, it really needs to work for those in the back office who can understand and see those additional conversions coming through by understanding those tail queries. And we've tried this in the real world. We've tried this with major retailers across multiple categories. And I can tell you that in the torso and the tail especially, because you might be doing fine with your head queries, but in the torso and the tail, we saw a 30% conversion increase because people were finding it. We also saw something that we measure in search, which is called lower abandonment rates. So when I come to your site and I search for something and I go somewhere else or I back away from it, we can actually see all of that in Bing as well. We can see all of the queries that are hitting your site, and we can see all the queries that are not hitting your site. And we've taken all of that knowledge and understanding, and we've poured that into the ranker that we've created for retail. So the future retail, it's seamlessly connected, and it's curated, and it's very exciting. I'm really, really glad where we're going. If you want to learn more about this, reach out to us at the link that I'll give you at the end. So what did we learn? We learned that e-commerce is a growth engine for retail. Search is hard, and it's difficult enough without having to be limited by traditional tools. You probably have great search teams, but if they don't have the best tools, then they can't do their best work. So help them out. Get them the best tools. Our data has shown that if you don't have this, you will lose customers, and you're leaving revenue on the table today. We have created Dynamics 365 Commerce. We've built Bing Intelligent AI into that, and a capability that will learn as it grows, as it works on your site. So the ranker you get on day 0 will be great, but the ranker you have on day 100 will be even better. And then finally, you can use Dynamics 365 Commerce to deliver this and a more holistic, connected experience that we talked about. So thank you very much for your attention and time. I really appreciate it. You've been a great audience. Time at the end. Oop, did I lose my audio there? For questions. And I didn't want to run too long today because I know some of you are probably running to the airport later. But I'm happy if you'd like to step up to the mic to talk about any of this and go back to any pieces or parts. Yes, please, sir.
Just a question regarding the pricing. Yeah. Is it included in e-commerce, or is it some extra addition?
So the commerce pricing is being figured out right now because it's currently in preview and it will come out, it will GA early next year. But I think that the best way to answer that is that there are many facets and dimensions to Dynamics, and I'm sure your Dynamics contact in your AE for your company will be happy to talk through each of those dimensions. It is an extra capability, but I'm sure that they'll work that into the overall incorporation price. I wish I could give you more now, but soon, in early next year, we'll have details. Thank you, thank you. Please, any other questions? All right, I'll take that to mean that we did a reasonable job of giving everybody the information. That's great. Thanks again very much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.